are you telling me Arsenal are still a big club in 10th position?
So now we move on to our second segment, resident segment. That's the dreams and nightmares. For those who haven't watched it before, simply we go around to the panel. They're going to name someone who they feel is having a good period over a set time. Could be a manager, player, establishment, even for a referee potentially, for our guests on tonight. And also someone they feel was not having a particular good time at the moment, and they feel should be doing better. So on this episode, we're going to start with Danny first.
My dreams, who can I go for? I've got a few people that I can mention, but I'm going to go for this particular person.
Shaka again.
Yeah, good one. By the way, everyone makes mistakes, but anyway, yeah, I'm going to go for Konza for Aston Villa.
Aston Villa?
Yeah. I think he's from around here actually. He's from the bits, and I think he's slowly showing what he can do. He's been consistent next to Mings. He's been playing well. I mean, he's been getting some goals as well on the offensive side. Defensively, he's solid. He's got legs on him. He can recover. You know, he reads the game well. He can play, and I just think he's doing well for someone that's that young. I think he's doing really well. And I think there's rumours that he might even be getting a call up from Southgate. To represent England, so I think he's doing well.
And a few of the big six, I think, are looking at him.
Yeah, big up to him. I don't have a nightmare. Come back on.
You do, Dan. Dan, don't try it. You do.
Yeah, I don't have a nightmare. I don't have a nightmare. I don't have a nightmare at the moment. Come back to me.
Okay, we'll come back to him. Larry, who would your dream be?
Actually, gone for a football club, Barnsley.
Barnsley.
I mean,
Barnsley.
Yeah, Barnsley. So they're currently sitting 5th in the championship.
Ooh.
With the budgets they've got and other big teams, you know, down there, it's just unbelievable what the coach has done as well. And just because I was fortunate to meet him once, I just felt I have this sense of, you know, attachment towards the club. So I look out for their results every Saturday. So Barnsley FC, they've done really, really, really well to be sitting.
You think they'll sneak in there? You think they'll sneak in the playoffs?
Might just be a little bit too much in the end, I think. Yeah, because the big boys are catching up, aren't they? Yeah. So you got your Cardiffs, you know, what's the saying out there? Is it Bournemouth as well? I think it's just outside.
Yeah, Bournemouth for catching up.
Well, Larry, you actually watch the championship, yeah?
Sorry, say that again?
Do you watch the championship?
Oh, yes, I do, because I watch every game.
But that's the best part to if you're going to learn good habits for refereeing.
Okay.
Not the Hollywood stuff on the Premiership, but proper, yeah.
So you don't forget Premier League. It's nothing. There's nothing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like, you know, every game available.
And who do you feel has had a nightmare sort of period at the moment?
Definitely Vanarama National Football League. I mean, how can you have promotion and no, you know, it's just unheard of. So I happened to be in. I was at a game on Southend under 23s against Oxford under 23s. So I was speaking to the manager, I should do before the game, and he said he sent out about 7 players on loan to, I don't want to name the club at all. Mm-hmm. So obviously the league has been called off. They haven't played any matches. So these players are not sure what's going to happen to them this season. Are they going to sign pro contract? Are they going to be released? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just really unfair. So yeah, unbelievable.
Do you think it was right? It was a good decision to curtail the league? Should they have continued playing?
I can understand both sides of the argument. Mm-hmm. You know, as a football fan, I'll be greedy and say no, it should carry on if every other football, you know, but again, there's no steady income coming in for them. So so it's both ways. So, but
it shows you a different dimension when you get referees in.
Yeah,
look at the dreams and nightmares we're having. Completely different, which is good.
That's what you want, exactly. True to them. Stead, you're up next.
For my dream, I'm gonna start with, you know, I've given this player so much stick in a group. So to actually watch him improve, I'm not gonna say he's there yet, but now I can actually see that, you know, there's more there for him, and that's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, you know, just at the beginning of the season, I was one of the people that was giving him such a hard time, and just to see how he's coming along now, and how he's improving each game he's playing, you know, and to me, it's just, you know, he's having a great time at the moment. And as for a nightmare, Firmino.
Wait, just going back to obviously what Aaron, because obviously there was talk about him needing competition. He might not be good enough. So do you still feel he's good enough long term? Or
You know, watching him, and I think what his competition right now, he doesn't need to get someone to come in. I think he's just got to keep looking over to the left, see what Luke is doing week in and week out. That in itself should be enough to motivate him and give him that competition he needs.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Your nightmare?
And my nightmare is Robbie Firmino for Liverpool. Boy, I honestly don't know what to say. He's having a shocking time. He really is. And for me, if Liverpool are thinking of being that top side as what everyone, don't get me wrong, they won the league last season, brilliant. But it just goes to show you need more than what Robbie Firmino is, you know, offers them week in and week out. I get all of that where, well, he's not really there to do this and he's not really there to do that. But when we look at the team, when we look at the lineups, is Robbie Firmino who we see as the number 9. He's the striker. And for the return he gives back, we all know, Jeff, as a striker, it's a numbers game. Now, when you look at his numbers, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking.
No, but it was okay it was okay when they were winning the league because his numbers weren't great.
Champions League as well.
Well, his numbers weren't great.
But this is what I'm saying. His numbers weren't great. Nobody cared about that because of what Salah and Mane was doing for him.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now that Salah and Mane are not really doing it for him, so now we're actually looking at him now. You know, look, it's a similar kind of argument with Martial. Solskjaer came in, let go of Lukaku because he believed Martial would go on to be a better number 9. But when you look at his numbers return and you look at what Lukaku's doing in Inter Milan, you're thinking, well, what did you do? So with Robbie, it's exactly the same thing. Mane and Salah are not having the best of seasons. That the numbers are not what they've been, what we're used to them being. So now all the highlight is on him.
No, but let's not talk about numbers. What about the way he plays the game, the way Klopp wants him to play? I feel like he's still playing the same way. It's just that the other two are not doing their thing. Because he's not a numbers guy, but he plays the game. He plays it quite well.
But Dan, hold. You see today, we all know, we would all sit here and say, Thierry Henry possibly the greatest striker to play in the Premier League. But there's people out there that would say, well, how could that possibly be when Alan Shearer has the record? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when you're a striker, we're not judging strikers based on how great was his touch or how great was that piece of skill that he did. We're judging a striker based on how many goals he's scoring at the end of the season.
To make that argument between Shearer and Henry is not technically fair because they didn't play the same amount of years. Who's to say if they played the same amount of years in the Premiership, Henry would have surpassed him?
No, but
I know what you're saying, but
you know what?
He's not an out-and-out striker. He never will be.
Rob, and I made the point from the beginning. When the team sheet comes out, unless look, you see what Pep's brilliant at what he does. When he's not playing Jesus or Aguero, you see it. When the team sheet comes out, there ain't a number 9. But with Robbie Firmino, every week in and week out, when that Liverpool team sheet comes out, he is the number 9.
Right. Okay.
Interchangeable.
Fair point. Emil, you're up next. Who is your dream be?
I'll tell you the young chap that I really, really like is Joshua De Silva. Brentford.
Huh? Brentford, yeah.
Joshua De Silva.
Yeah. Very patient, very, 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 very talented. I just think that sometimes what they tend to do sometimes when these young guys are coming up, they put so much pressure on them. And if without knowing their background or the surroundings, if they haven't got the right people around them, they can lose their way. then fade away. So he's, you know, for me, I think he's a real talent, and if he's looked after well, he can do really well. It's a bit like the young boy that was at Liverpool, and then they sent him out.
One who's gone to Sheffield United.
Yeah, Brewster.
Yeah, Brewster.
Brewster was smashing it in the youth squad, absolutely killing it. But you just think, you know what? If he's not handled right, he's just going to disappear into the ether, just like the rest of the real raw talent.
That's a good one. It's one to watch for obviously those who don't know or watch the championship much.
No,
and what
good.
What about your nightmare?
Go on, then. My nightmare at the moment is I'll have to talk about my home team, but we could be on that all night. Spurs, and the appointment of Jose to the club. Is he the right? Do I think he's the right manager for the club? I think Jose, his best days are gone as such in the Premiership, because he that novelty special one thing, even the stupid ads that he does now, it's not working because he's not that special now. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone is like when ticky-tack football was on. Do you know what I mean? Now everyone knows how to do it and how to shut it down, and you know it's not there. So yeah, my nightmare at the minute is a little bit of how the boys are not happy at the camp. I don't think, not entirely. And when you watch when you watch that program that they had on Amazon behind the scenes, I think you got a sense of that. Irrespective of everything that's going on, and they tried to make it look level, you could tell the guys are not happy in the changing room, and that's where it starts, I think.
What's your opinion on his treatment to Dele?
Well, you see, again, it's about managing them when they were coming up, and when they potentially was on the cusp of greatness. I don't know the young man personally, and I don't follow him on Twitter, and I don't do none of that kind of thing. But I have a feeling that he wasn't always surrounded by the right people. When before Jose came, he was beginning to feel the hype and maybe starting to believe in the hype. Because when you think about it, he's a very talented player, very good player, but he's not special like that. Maybe he could have, if he was going to break into that next level of specialness and greatness, then Jose probably would have been the one. But clearly the personality and stuff there ain't mixing. And you know, there's a thing you do sometimes when you're refereeing. If the big mouth one is the big mouth one that's sending the ripples out to the rest of the squad, you deal with the big mouth one first, and hope that the rest of the squad get the message. So I think there's a little bit of that going on where Dele is probably not very happy, and he's just showing you, because when he came in, Dele was the big boy. You know what I mean? He was, you know, he was a given on the team sheet, but he's showing you that no, it's his ship, and he's not necessarily he's not happy with him and what he wants with. You know, they tried to make out that it was all nice and good, but clearly it's not.
And obviously, as a Spurs fan, who would you want to replace Jose? I mean,
well, you see, I quite like. You know who I quite like? I quite like the guy at the Chelsea manager. The
Tuchel.
Yeah,
but he's not going to come across.
No, he's not going to come across, but it's that kind of manager where they're intelligent.
Okay.
Do you understand? There's an intelligence about them. Jose,
it's ironic that I think, like you say, I think he's kind of like a newer version of Jose, so to speak, in terms of how he sets his teams up.
It's the next level. You know what I mean? It's the next notch up. So that somebody like that in that ilk, you know, sort of thing.
Rob, last up.
Let me go nightmare first. Again, my nightmare is my own home club, which is Arsenal Football Club. You know, I'm laughing there, but this nightmare began maybe 2004. Do you understand me? When Arsenal were riding high, and then the new stadium and the promises and David Dean leaving and the whole battle with ownership between Usmanov and Kroenke. And people say, oh, Arsenal this. Listen, Arsenal haven't got worse. Their teams just have got better. And Arsenal have not been able to keep up. Getting into the top four with Arsene Wenger, now you really think about it, it was an achievement because Arsenal had a mediocre team. But other teams like Leicester are consistent teams now, and Arsenal can't compete. And the only way they will is if they throw money at it, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So that's my nightmare for Arsenal football.
So Rob, just going on that. So the solution would be new owners?
How are you going to get new owners? They fought tooth and nail to become the majority owners. They're not giving that up. They're still holding out for fans to come back out and to come back into stadiums and money to be raking in. So the reality...
I don't cut you, Rob. I don't cut you, Rob, but I think that perhaps your guys, your Arsenal fans, are not as patient as the Tottenham guys, because your guys are used to success. Do you know what I mean? Back to back.
But how, you're saying used to success when? What, FA Cups?
No, a while back, a good while back. You know,
so Rob, I don't know. What's the nightmare? How the club is run?
The nightmare is that, are you telling me Arsenal are still a big club in 10th position? In the last 4 seasons, have Arsenal been... Don't forget about the title.
Well, Rob, hold on. According to Paul Merson, you're one of your legends. He calls you like a Rolls Royce of a club.
A Rolls Royce amongst what?
Yeah.
Amongst a
club.
No, but Rob, it's a transition thing. I think obviously when
Danny, stop. They said it was a transition thing when we came to the Emirates. They said we would be for players. Done. It was a transition when Danielson was there. It was a transition when Wilcott was there. It was a transition when Wilshere was there. Stop that, Danny. That's disrespect to Arsenal. I feel like I should be an Arsenal fan TV, but that's disrespect. There's no more transition, because what are you telling me? Unai Emery was just a stopgap. That's not a transition.
But all I'm saying is, what we're seeing right now under Arteta.
I'm not blaming Arteta. I'm
just saying you got to wait a bit and just see. Because think about Tottenham. Look at Tottenham's squad. Yeah, they've got better players than us individually.
But Aston Villa they're not. This season's it's an exception, but I don't think they're far away from us. But we're still pretty much. We're there and abouts. We're just have to give it time. We're 10 points off.
Hold on a minute. There and abouts.
I'm not even talking about.
I'm saying with teams like Tottenham, listen. Tottenham should be a lot higher than us. Look at Liverpool. I'm just saying, you gotta wait a bit and just let it marinate a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as we say it is.
Tottenham were always seen as the second club in North London. That should have been the first, because Arsenal are originally from South. So what I'm trying to say, we are 10 points off fourth position. I'm not blaming Arteta. I'm saying, as a club, this has not been just 2 years. This has been a good decade, maybe 15 years. Then
on the sly,
blinking slowly. But because we was getting Champions League,
we were just watching that. And your stadium was paid for.
Remember the last time
was loving this one.
The last time we close to winning the league was the season Leicester. And that was because other teams were having a nightmare, not because we were good. So that tells you the standard. So my dream, looking at the league table, you think I'm contradicting, but my dream's actually Brighton and their manager, Graham Potter. Now, I don't really know much about this. I don't mind much about him, but I've been watching him recently, and for the budget that they got, and they look like they've got some pretty standard players for the Premier League. They play a good, decent game. And today I watched them against Southampton, Even at 1-1, when Southampton seemed to have the ascendancy, Brighton seemed to have plans. They seem to have capabilities. They're not just like a West Brom team that kick it up front and let the big man do it. They work from the back. They work in their midfield. And their second goal, Lallana played a great ball to, what's his name? Welbeck, first touch, laid it into the guy's path, and he hit it straight top corner. That's not a team that's just scrapping. Although they're 17th position, they play a good standard of football for the lower half of the table. And Graham Potter, I don't know where he's come from, but he's obviously got a man with a plan, and I don't see him being at Brighton too long. I'm not saying he's going to go for a top 4 club, but maybe a top 10 club.
No, you know what? Let's be careful. Hold on. Just let's be careful with that, because that was the same shout everyone was getting on about Eddie Howe.
No. What I'm saying about Eddie Howe, Eddie Howe stayed at the same club for too long. Do you understand me? Bournemouth in itself, they were buying players like, no disrespect, like Dominic Solanke, Jordan Ibe. They were buying a lot of players that still were not the finished article. Do you understand me? So that's where I believe they started to struggle.
I think you're right. And you're right, because I think when obviously Houghton lost his job, a lot of people wanted Brighton to fail. They didn't know who Graham Potter was, because Houghton had a lot of supporters. He's a good guy in football. People were a big fan of his. So Graham Potter to kind of how he's come through the ranks and kind of imposed his playing style on Brighton, and everyone kind of likes watching Brighton. I think he's done really well. But obviously, if we're going to say, let's just say, for argument's sake, Sheffield United are gone, West Brom are gone as well. Who would be the last relegation spot, Rob? Who do you think so?
Any of them are capable. Any of them, that includes Burnley as well. They're still in and amongst that section. That includes Brighton as well. That includes Fulham. I mean, I know Fulham have strung a few good results together, but you know, you have one bad game and then suddenly you're just still straight back in there, like paddling for dear life. But I'm just saying, in terms of, you know, to get relegated is a bad season. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I remember Wigan won the FA Cup, but they got relegated. It was like mixed emotions. You understand me? So, but I'm just saying, as a club and as a manager, Graham Potter, with the players he got, I mean, there's no real stat. You probably say Tariq Lamptey, Adam Lallana, and to a degree, because of his Champions League status, Danny Welbeck. Other than that, no real standout names on that team sheet, and they still play a decent standard of football for so-called lower half of the table.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, though. I'm going to say Burnley, Newcastle, Brighton, Fulham. Who's the last team going down?
I think Fulham lose one more game, they're done.
Fulham.
If they lose one more, Fulham, I think they're done. I still don't think they've got enough goals in them. You know,
I think Newcastle are in some real danger. Unless they get that Callum Wilson fit, I think they're in real danger at the moment.
All the other teams,
the Fulham boys are looking hungry for Parker, thow.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, they look hungry, but I don't think they've got enough goals in them. They don't have enough goals in them. I need at certain places you need 2 or 3 goals. I'm not saying every game, because 1-0 is still 3 points, but just to
they
give
can do with Mitrovic coming back.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that game when they played against West Brom, even though they won 1-0 down, they had enough to go on and win, but they just didn't have enough goals. I don't see looking at a striker saying this striker can get 10 or 12 goals between now and the end of the season. And if you ain't got that, you're always going to be hoping that your whole team can chip in. And I don't think Fulham got a team that can all chip in. Even Loftus-Cheek, great player. My only criticism for him, I don't think he scores enough goals.
I think they're going to be all right, you know. I think they'll be all right.
I'm just saying, if they lose one more game, suddenly momentum is key. Do you understand me? When you're trying to fight relegation, or even when you're trying to win at the top, you lose one game, that momentum's gone, and then suddenly it's like, damn, we've got to start again. Do you understand me? And then you look around and really built.
It's interesting to see how it plays out, because that might be that and top 4 will probably be the thing that I'll keep, you know, Sky in business, so people keeping up descriptions up, because obviously the league's done. So really relegation and top 4 will probably be the last 2 things that I need to be fought out for. And maybe the Europa pick as well.
I just wanted to ask everyone, just to get everyone's opinion on something. How do we all feel about football this season? Well, from starting from last season and this season where there's been no fans.
I think, West Ham's loving it clearly, but I think you see the teams that at that level that are really good. It's like a high, good technical training kind of matches. Do you know what I mean? And you see, and you can see what the manager's thinking. You see the structure. Definitely see the structure and the game plan. You can see it more without the fans. But the derbies, even like the one today, it's not the same. It's not the same without the fans. It's not there's no one there roaring on someone who's done a great challenge and go, oh, and then he's got amped up, or saying shoot from distance. You know, it's not there. So they miss the fans. It definitely has a bearing. Definitely.
The intensity is not there in the games. A lot of the games.
No, exactly. Like in the derbies, and you know the battles for life towards the end of the season might be the only time you might see a level of intensity that close to what it's like when the crowds are in. But as for the quality of the football, even in the mid-table and the low, that you can see the football is good, because these guys, you know, there's time and space, and they're technically very relaxed. Yeah.
Relaxed. And it's no kind of shame in terms of correlation that a lot of teams now are losing their home records.
Yeah.
Now obviously Liverpool being the obvious one, but a lot of teams have poor home records this season without fans. So I think it's quite obvious kind of that little, as we often say, 10%, it comes from the fans.
Yeah.
That little booster, it does come
And it
from,
makes a big difference. I think it will make a big difference. But
and in terms of Champions League, said I just think it's not as good without no fans. I think you need fans in there with Champions League because it just gives it that much. It makes it that much harder to go out there and do the business.
Because the fans, I think the fans are talking to you, aren't they? They're chanting at you, they're shouting at you, man on, as well as your players. They're saying, "All right, go
as well."
Say again.
I mean, giving you that extra energy as well. 11th month.
Yeah, and you get the roar of them saying, there's 2 minutes down and the crowd is behind you, and you start giving in, putting in the challenges, putting your neck on the line. They're doing it, but it's not the same without the fans.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Even as a referee, sometimes when you go to certain stadiums, you want to be there. You want to engage with them sometimes, like just that little buzz they give you.
Yeah, they do.
Behind closed doors. And it's not the same as an official.
Yeah, and that's right. And they'll make you laugh. They'll make you react. You know what I mean? So if you make it, on a good occasion, on the odd occasion, you'll have a crowd that will applaud the referee. Because he's made a good decision or allowed an advantage or whatever, and you smile. Do you know what I mean? You'll smile, and obviously there's ones, but when they start singing that song, you don't know what you're doing. We don't want them for that.
In everything, it's energy. Do you understand?
Exactly.
Energy.
It's a bit like when you train on your own or when you train with a sparring partner.
Yeah. When you're in that when you're in the changing room, you come out into the tunnel and you hear the roar and you see people with their names on their shirt. It gives you that boost. You can be losing 1-0 and then the fans just start saying, "Come on, Arsenal! Come on, Arsenal!" Suddenly you got a bit more. You got a bit more prep in your step. Like, you know what? Let's if we're gonna go out losing, let's go out losing.
Yeah.
You understand?
You put one robust challenge in.
You can't go through the motion.
Yeah. You can't hide.
It's on you. Yeah.
You can't hide.
I think that's a good place to end it. Thanks for those watching. Thanks for our guests, obviously, joining us. Hopefully, it won't be the last time. We'll see you. We might have you in every episode for that kind of the refereeing contentious decisions, just to give your view.
Bad ref.
So please subscribe, follow. And we'll be back. New episode.
Emil, I can't wait to see you again, boy. And hopefully you start giving me something on the pitch, boy.
Give me something to work with, man. Give me something to work with.
work with yourself, boy. Work with your team. Basketball.
Thank you.